problem is coming in, because there's also a big group of men that are just not standing for certain things anymore, and they're moving further over there, and the women are moving further over the other side.
Me, I've certainly been able to notice if someone can adapt or not. And that's the thing. You can have these qualities, but are they qualities that make you attractive to someone who's serious, who wants to take on as a partner? Probably
Exactly.
not. You know,
Exactly.
if someone is serious and wants to take on as a partner, you want someone who can adapt. You want someone who can. We're not saying we want to control and change you, but some of the things that we spoke about, this entire podcast is around, trying to walk together in the same direction.
It's a weird thing, man.
Trying to feed with one another. It's definitely one of those things, and I just don't know if some of those behaviours help.
I totally agree, but the thing is, what's the expression my mother-in-law is like? Men's pants has been out there, right? In terms of where we need to improve, right? Everybody and their mother knows, men have done this, that, and I'm not disputing any of that. I don't think, because over the last 20, 30 years, it's essentially been about empowering women, essentially giving fairness to women, essentially making women equal. No dispute, right? No dispute. But again,
there has to be some kind of accountability in it as well.
There's accountability. Women have started to mess up, but you don't hear that. You don't hear that. And the fact is, even though you don't hear people talk about it, what we've talked about here, in that there is now a huge swathe of women from all cultures who you think, how is it all these women are single, right? I mean, and again, I'm talking for years and years. I have so many examples, right, I could give from all cultures where they're single, and they all have, in my opinion, they have this sort of vein running through them, this trait of, I don't need a man. If I get a man, some of them is, he has to be this, and some of this, I want a man up here, but I'm down there. How's that going to work? How's that going to work?
And there's also a movement of, this is where I think the problem is coming in, because there's also a big group of men that are just not standing for certain things anymore, and they're moving further over there, and the women are moving further over the other side, and it's like, when are we going to come back into the middle, kind of thing?
Look,
again,
how do we get back?
Struggle. Let's deal with the facts, right? Let's deal with the facts. The fact is that there are more women available than men. Yeah. So, if you like, men are the buyers. I'm not telling any woman. I would never tell any woman, friend, sister, daughter, take any rubbish. But what I would say is, check yourself. Check yourself. What are the vibes you're giving off? Going back to that, what are you bringing to the plate? You're saying you want a man up here. Are you up there? I'm not talking in terms of you want a man who earns 50 grand. You have to earn 50 grand. I'm saying, but what are you bringing to the plate that you can say this is your share? This is your share.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by what you bring to the plate? Because I don't want to keep on going on about this housewife thing, but I think there's women out there that actually feel, and for me, there's nothing wrong with a housewife. I think, as you said,
absolutely,
some people it works for. If it works for you, that's fine. But can you let women know that a housewife is not just a housewife? It's not just it's not just a job. You don't get paid a salary for cooking and cleaning or whatever. Can you explain? If you had a housewife, maybe if your wife played that role, what else would you need from her? I'm sure it wouldn't be just cooking and cleaning. You would need something emotionally from her.
Right. Listen. So, I suppose there's many ways you can split up a relationship. There are the practical things, right, and then there is the emotional things, right. The practical things is we need money in order to pay rent, pay a mortgage. So you, Mr. Man, in this instance, you go out and do that practical thing. Great. You, woman, wife, what I need you to do, I need you to run the house, right? So I pay for it, but I need you to run it. Running it means dealing with all aspects of it. All aspects of it. Cleaning, cooking, right? And then guess what? So that's her practical side, that's his practical side. But that's not what makes a relationship, right? You could do that with what do you call it? Flat share. A flat share can do that, but that's not a relationship. What makes a relationship is the emotional side. When you come home at night, you want somebody to say, sweetheart, what have you been doing? Right? How's work been? And she wants you to say, tell me what's been going on in the house, because it looks fantastic. It looks great. Right? That is the emotional stability, the emotional concrete that a relationship needs. But there are the practical sides that need to be taken care of, and whether it's as I described or the other way around, or or a mixture of that, it doesn't matter. But what has to happen is that there has to be the emotional side of it, where both parties show an acknowledgement of what the other's doing, right?
Yeah, worth. Yeah,
it has to be, and it can't be a case of a man saying, "Look, I've worked for the last 10 hours. All you did was this. All you do is that." Right, denigrating what she's doing, or flip side, a woman saying, "Boy, I know you work 10 hours, but I still need that Gucci bag." Right? Yeah. You know, there has to be a fairness to it from both parties.
Yeah, I think you put it right. It's about the acknowledgement of what your role is. You know, I think Ryan, we spoke about this about mat leave. And the fact that my opinion is that actually men somewhat have it a tiny bit harder, not in terms of holding the child for 9 months and looking after the child all day, every day, but in fact, I think we enter the new world quicker with kids. So, for example, we're working, partner's pregnant, child's here. Within 2 weeks, you're back to work and have got a child at home So as much as the woman doesn't go back to work until 9 months, a year, 2 years later, quite quickly we've got it thrown. It's almost hits us like a train. Right? You're back in the workplace. You've got a child at home. Instantly, child cries all night. You've still got to go work in the morning.
Deal with it.
Doesn't matter.
Just deal with
it. And I think,
we're not taking away. We're not taking away from anything that a woman does.
No,
but it's the reality.
Agreed.
It's a reality, and I feel like that bit is it's not touched on. And
agreed.
What helps though is your wife or partner understanding. Do you know what? It's pretty tough. You're up all night doing the feed or whatever, and then you're going to work in the morning. But equally, we've got to come home and realise it's a tough gig.
Yeah,
been on the sofa all day.
Still a full-time job.
It's a tough gig, and I think when you're seeking a partner, you need to realise. Well, not seeking a partner. You need to realise if you're going to go down the road of trying to be with someone, these are the things which they're going to come down the road. Not the thing to do with money, not the thing to do with holidays, not the thing to do with fashion. Those are, like you said, they're functional things. These are the real emotional things that glue.
But you'd be surprised I feel like when some of these women do have a child and they start going through these things and they realise that, hold on, there's no amount of money that could, make it easier for me right now. They start to realize, well, having someone here just to actually help me out, just to go and get a bottle from downstairs, would actually be quite good at the moment. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's gold dust. That's gold dust.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, I think the point being, what we're touching on is that it always going to take efforts from both sides. But again, I will maintain, I think the weaknesses of men has been highlighted, and somewhat appropriately so. And I think men have moved on. I mean, if I think of what my dad did versus what I did, right? Night and day. And that's not me knocking my dad. That's just what men did back then, right? And I see from what I did to what I see the newer fathers doing, a step on, right? So I think men are improving, and I think what we're saying here is that women, thank God, have always been good mothers, good providers of emotional stability. What we're talking about here is recently has that stability where they give it to the children, is it being shared with their partners? And for some of the reasons we've touched on, and I think that's the point, is that women have to, quite frankly, look at themselves more. They have to look at themselves more.
I think you made a good point. I think men, I would agree, probably more than ever, are working on themselves. And I think because we've realized we haven't got a choice. It's not like we can't. A lot of us realize we can't sit down and hope for something to change. I think that's just a male mentality anyway. If we want something, we know no one's coming to save us. We have to go and do it ourselves. And I think, men are making constant improvements. I think we're still trying to shake off that tag put on us from maybe other men who haven't been around or been doing their job. And we've kind of been cast with this kind of thing, like all men are this kind of...
Paint with the same brush.
Paint with the same brush. That's it.
Yeah.